Hello, welcome back to the channel. I hope this finds you well wherever you are. I'm Zach Markowski and this is Sharper Pen Image Consulting. And something special here because it's a first, and that's the first poetry reading at the end of time is happening now. That is, over the course of the past few weeks, I've announced that I'm having a poetry reading. Anyone who wants to submit your work, I'll read it here on the channel. So, finally, first off, we have American Cancer by Harold Roberts. I wish I were a better man. I've seen the smiles husbands give their wives while shopping for the inane, the masks men boldly wear. And I ask myself, why didn't I marry her? That could have been me. If I were a better man, I would invest in my retirement. Instead, I waste my cash on beer and passing 20s to the homeless. How great it would be to show pictures of my own child to people I don't care about, whilst thriving on the jealous sorrow, like a mosquito, annoying and unrelenting, whose singular existence serves no meaningful purpose. Raising children isn't even that hard these days. Sorry. Media does the heavy lifting and mistakes can be corrected with a prescription. He's so right. But I am not a better man. I waste my life in a service job for less than adequate pay and spend my off hours reflecting on the conditions of the modern soul, hammering out poems I myself can't understand and no one wants to read. If I could get my life together, maybe I would garner some respect from people I disdain and spend my life in misery just to prove a point that I can sell my soul, but I am trying to be a better man. A real piece of Americana. No, it reminds me of a lot of the poets and poetry when I was growing up. You could hear this at a lot of readings, bars. Generally we call it street poetry, right? It's just about life. It's about it does, I guess, elevating or deflating the mundane, right? That's kind of the end result of poetry and philosophy over the course of millennia in the West, is that it winds up being a deflationary process. What once was expanding begins to deflate, but I digress. This is from Mick Wolterink. The realism of an unbendable yet incomplete umwelt outweighs the rhythm of the day and the magic that the virtuoso favors. It seems to forsake. Memory lingers as that which was cataract once, now does not qualify any more, and it starts to become apparent when shades disappear. Unequivocal quiescence governs in silent roar. Hermits with a particular curiosity, whom we do not call by name, do not dream of a yacht, but are required to slaughter prey only for these seamen to devour based upon impressionism and the normative hour that follow from the quietude of voyage. Consequently, were there not 2 nights for a man to witness non-conventionally, when the sight of the first would have falsified the second, the thought may appear that poetry predicates invalidity in premise, for the man who has his sight on 2 nights does not seem to care. I find myself to wonder when the day shall come this dare that we begin to express critique towards the vulgar. So a little bit of yin yang for you. And this was titled, To This Lovely Man Whom I Dedicate My Drafted Poem Written When I Was a Teenage Girl, by Tvesa. Have I always perhaps lived in a dream, a distant echo, a fleeting gleam, crimson polish staining my brittle nails, urged to perfection though my effort fails, matching my red dress and maybe my core wine glass. Ah, its fragile beat often aching within. Have I always really lived in a masquerade, artificial yet polished as porcelain clay? Yes. I was just thinking about this before I started reading. You know, everything real becomes fake and everything fake becomes real. Kind of like that life here, almost like everything that isn't, you just have to pretend it is. So yes. um, Secrets held hidden behind my thin wire glasses, big damp chocolate eyes, fickle as murky marshes and maybe the autumn leaves, falling to the ground as they weep, as they bleed. All right. A poetess after my own heart. Very good. This is Sleep poem by Gregory Gravel. Now, I did a little bit of, I'm not going to lie here, I did a little bit of editing just because I said, I think this would be really good with some rhymes. And Greg was like, I don't, and you're right, it seems cheesy, it's not really modern, but, let's see how this goes. So forgive me, Greg, if this goes badly. Sleep, I blame you for this day's end. I blame you for the time running out now and then. I blame you for the thousand things incomplete, feathers and wings. I seek the eternal day. I seek time halting and riddance of the thousand incomplete things. And so I run from you, but you always catch up and step on my heels, a tripping for two. I drown you in coffee, but you merely hold your breath, appending everything already upon me, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. I insult you, I condemn you, I scream a void of nastiness that you are as if to backbend you. Yet as night falls, you come to me with a tender smile and a soft voice. Your song comes like an angelic choir, a waterfall in heaven which plays a tune with every splash. Then at last your lips touch my head and I fall through sleep in time. Distant worlds pass me by as my memories of them fade as break of a new day rise. Now at long last for you and excuse me. Now at last I long for you and condemn the day, like a baby who screams as it enters the world awake. I cast my despising groan upon the day. Awake again only to learn once more my hatred for sleep. Like an old lover, I long for you, only that which I can't have, stripped away not to keep. Does the one who lives infinitely many lives feel the same of death? Good question. All right, and this is from Bazine. Beneath the sun's unyielding glare, despair begets the bloom of the fiercest flame, the frail. Embrace their change, yet strength will dare to rise defiance writ in veils of pale yet. To fall is fate, to stand defiance of flame that feeds on fleeting fear. Fractured moments breeds alliance between the smoke and sizzling clear. Twist the torment, tend the tender thread, the wound, the womb, where greatness grows to soar to weep in triumph wrought by bitterness. What breaks the soul remakes it evermore. Oh, laugh at gods who rule with gilded breath, for life a dream of deathless death. Consumes, creates the serpent's song, what ends will forge the weak made strong. All right, and from Carl, the eunuch and the milkless tit. Sounds like quite the fable. Excuse me. They made pleasure the end, and so did they end in pleasure. The eunuch's soft voice, the sharp wit sang on the beauties of the queen top her throne. Her kindness and sadness made all full with delight, yet she never took a man to be king. The kingdom a sea, a conquered outwards. Her people, her meaning and conquest delight. Her people a tree grew upwards in life. Strong men by swords were raised up. Judge a tree by its fruit, the sword rang in tribute. Our conquest, our fruit, our queen, our fruit. By the blood of our suffering we take the blood of new trees, and from them the fruit is our measure. By the sword they lived as they died too soon, and the sea rolled back with their queen's vanity, with her kindness and sadness to dust. Judge a tree by its fruit, judge a tree by its seed. Her people learned the axemen of other men's pleasure, for the seed of their sword was the sword, for the seed of a thing itself. And so did they end in themselves. The greatness of pleasure became other men's pleasure. The kingdom dried up, and the eunuch's song died, and other seeds came to their land. The end. It doesn't say the end. I just added the end because all things come to an end. And speaking of which, we are at our last poem here, and this is just my contribution to the reading. So I titled this Roll the Dice, an ode to psychological operations. Mold into complacency as if to a shape by a dragon's dream, lottery struck too true to be good, rather out of luck what men of letters really mean. It's very English to distinguish ladies and the lords, sex change mate out of space and place, operations no one can afford. But load the guns, it's loads of fun, and so English instructs more. The language limits thought itself, but it's great for waging war. Again, I'm Zach Markowski. This is Sharper Pen Image Consulting. This was the first poetry reading at the end of time. I plan on doing these on a regular basis. So if you like and you want to submit your work and I'll read it, again, the email is sharperssubmissions@gmail.com. That's sharpers, sharpers, @gmail.com. I'll put the email up so it's not mistaken. And from there, I plan on doing these poetry readings on a regular or semi-regular basis. At a minimum, I was thinking quarterly. So again, submit your work. If you have friends who you think might be interested, tell them about it, send them the email. They can do it from there. From here, just with the channel and as a little bit of an update itself, I've just been curating and working on various talks on mainly Thus Spake Zarathustra and where that ties into some of Friedrich Nietzsche's other work like Beyond Good and Evil and the rest of his philosophical canon. But other than that, I'll be resuming making these videos and whatever else comes along. Anyway, thanks for checking out the channel. Wherever this finds you, I hope it finds you well. And if we're so fortunate to be here tomorrow, I'll hopefully see you then. Take care. Thanks.